Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we turn confusing corporate documents into something you can actually understand. Today we're diving into a Schedule 14A filing, which is basically a proxy statement. Think of it as the company sending out its homework to her shareholders before the annual meeting and asking them to vote yes on everything. But sometimes there are juicy details hidden inside, so let's take a look and see what we can find. This proxy statement is from Arbutus Biopharma Corporation, a company working on treatments for chronic hepatitis B. The main event, their annual general meeting in May, where shareholders get to vote on important stuff. Are they going to yes on everything, or is something fishy? Let's find out. First, a quick overview. This document covers everything from electing directors, that's like picking the team captains for the year, to approving executive pay and choosing the accounting firm. We'll break down the key votes and what they mean for the company. Okay, so what exactly are shareholders being asked to vote on? First, they need to elect 5 people to the board of directors who will serve until the next annual meeting. They also have to give an advisory, so non-binding vote on the compensation of top executives who are no longer with the company. Finally, shareholders need to approve Ernst & Young, also known as I, as their independent accounting firm. Let's start with proposal number 1, electing the board of directors. The board has nominated 5 people to serve. Shareholders can vote for all, withhold all, or for all except, naming the people they don't want. The key here is that under British Columbia law, a nominee just needs a majority of votes to win. Withhold votes don't count against them. Next, proposal number 2, the say on pay vote. This is where shareholders get to voice their opinion on how much the top executives are paid, even though all the named executive officers have departed the company. It's non-binding, so the board doesn't have to listen, but they usually do pay attention. Again, you can vote for, against, or abstain. Abstaining doesn't count as a vote. Finally, proposal number 3, approving the accounting firm I. This one's pretty straightforward. Do you trust I to keep the books straight? Vote for or against. Abstaining doesn't count. Now let's talk about the people involved. Lindsay Androsky is the new president and CEO, and also the chairperson of the board. Roivant recommended her, and it looks like she has an impressive background, including experience with acquisitions and even cybercrime prosecution. Tuan Noon is the chief financial officer responsible for the money stuff. The other director nominees are Robert Beardsley, Joseph Bishop, Matthew Glein, and Anuj Hasija, all recommended to the board by Roivant. Robert Beardsley has over 30 years of experience in drug development and company building. He has been responsible for driving funding, strategic partnerships, and development of patient-centric solutions. Joseph Bishop has experience at Roivant as a Senior Vice President Finance. As part of his roles at Roivant, Mr. Bishop has served as Chief Financial Officer for a number of Roivant's funds, including Pulmovant and Televant. Matthew Glein is the Chief Executive Officer of Roivant. As CEO, Mr. Glein plays a key role in setting the strategy for Roivant, along with the rest of the board of directors. Anuj Hasija has over 20 years of experience. Mr. Hasija has served as president and founder of Double Filtered, a healthcare strategy consultancy, since 2024. Previously, Mr. Hasija served as Vice President, Sales and Marketing, Cardiovascular and Metabolic Diseases at Johnson & Johnson in 2023, and served in various roles at Novartis, including Vice President, Oncology Global Marketing from 2009 to 2023, and served in various roles at Novartis, including Vice President, Oncology Global Marketing from 2009 to 2023. Arbutus says they believe in strong governance. They try to follow all the rules from the SEC, NASDAQ, and Canadian regulators. A key focus is board independence, making sure directors aren't too cozy with management. All but one director are considered independent. They also want to avoid directors or officers from hedging or pledging their shares. That's where insiders bet against a company's success, which can lead to bad decisions. Let's look at who owns the company. As of March, Roivant Sciences owns a big chunk, 20,003% of the shares. Morgan Stanley owns 11.2%, Whitefor Capital Management owns 7%, and BlackRock owns 5.4%. Dr. Michael Sophia, who retired as of December 31, 2020% of shares. The most interesting part is how much the new board members own. Now let's look at how much the departed executives made. Michael McElhole, the former interim CEO, made around $2.1 million bought around in dollars. Karen Sims, the former chief medical officer, got around $1.7 million. And Michael Sophia, the retiring chief scientific officer, also made about $1.8 million. A lot of this was in the form of stock and options, so their actual take-home pay depends on how the stock performs. Looking at that summary compensation table, we can see that in 2024, Michael McElhole made $642,500 salary. $231,751,753 non-equity, $57,524 option awards. The report also goes into outstanding equity awards, what happens when someone leaves the company, and more. It seems that everyone that was let go got a pretty standard and reasonable severance package. The accounting firm got paid $700,000 in audit fees for 2024. Finally, we see that Arbutus had a deal with Vauvant to launch Genvant Sciences. Arbutus licensed their delivery technologies to Genvant, getting royalties on future sales. So what's the story here? Well, Arbutus has had a lot of changes. New leadership, people leaving, and a continued reliance on deals with Vauvant. The company is clearly shifting direction, betting on their delivery technology. Now for my take. Arbutus is at an interesting crossroads. On the one hand, the new leadership seems qualified, and the focus on delivery technology could be a smart move. On the other hand, all the executive turnover is always a red flag, as is relying heavily on a single partner like Vauvant. The biggest opportunity, their delivery technology. If they can make it work, it could be a game changer. The biggest risk, that hepatitis B drugs are not successful or someone else wins the Moderna lawsuit. Overall, I'm cautiously optimistic about Arbutus. They have potential, but they need to execute their strategy and show they can stand on their own 2 feet. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. What do you think of the Arbutus Biopharma shakeup? Let me know your thoughts.